The night was cold, and the rain had been falling for hours, turning the small town of Maple Hollow into a maze of glistening puddles and foggy streets. At exactly 2:43 a.m., the emergency hotline received a call that would shake the town to its core. The voice on the other end was trembling. "There's blood. Everywhere. I think she's dead." The dispatcher froze for a moment before asking the caller's location. Redwood Lane, number 47. It was the home of Dr. Hannah Reeves, a respected psychologist known for her kindness, sharp intellect, and her work with troubled youth. No one could have imagined that behind the polished walls of her beautiful Victorian house, a nightmare had unfolded so gruesome that even seasoned detectives would lose sleep over it. Detective Marcus Hale, a 15-year veteran of the Maple Hollow Police Department, arrived first. The moment he stepped inside, the metallic scent of blood struck him like a wall. He'd seen his fair share of violent crimes, but this was different. Blood coated the walls like red paint. Furniture was overturned and pieces of shattered glass crunched beneath his boots. On the living room floor lay the body of Dr. Reeves, mutilated beyond recognition. Her eyes were open, staring at the ceiling, her lips frozen in what looked like a silent scream. The brutality was beyond comprehension. Whoever had done this didn't just want her dead. They wanted to destroy her. "Get forensics in here now," Hale ordered, his voice trembling slightly. He didn't want to admit it, but the sight had disturbed even him. There were strange markings carved into the victim's skin, deliberate, almost ritualistic. It wasn't just murder. It was a message. By morning, the small town was buzzing with rumors. News vans surrounded the area, and reporters speculated about a serial killer. Dr. Reeves had no known enemies. Her last patient appointments had been normal. There was no forced entry, suggesting the killer was someone she knew. Hale and his partner, Detective Laura Kent, combed through her case files, hoping to find a lead. That's when they found something unusual. A file labeled Ethan Rowe was missing. Ethan was one of Dr. Reeves's patients, a 23-year-old ex-convict with a violent history. He had been undergoing therapy after serving time for assaulting his stepfather. According to the clinic's notes, he had been making progress, but the last entry, written 2 weeks ago, said otherwise. Patient exhibiting signs of relapse, paranoid delusions returning, believes he's being watched, refused medication. When they checked Ethan's apartment, he was gone. The walls were covered with disturbing sketches, eyes, knives, and words written in black ink. "She knows. She won't control me again." That was enough for a warrant. But the more they searched, the darker the picture became. Maple Hollow was small, the kind of town where everyone knew everyone, or thought they did. When detectives began asking around, they discovered something startling. Dr. Reeves had been counseling not just troubled teens, but also adults with dangerous pasts. She believed everyone could be rehabilitated. Ethan Rowe wasn't her only risky patient. A neighbor, Mrs. Collins, recalled hearing shouting from the house 2 nights before the murder. "I heard a man screaming, and then glass breaking. Dr. Reeves told me it was just a client having a panic attack, but..." Her voice was shaky, like she was scared. The police obtained security footage from a nearby gas station. At 10:13 p.m. on the night of the murder, Ethan Rowe's car was seen heading toward Redwood Lane. He was wearing a black hoodie, his face partially obscured. By all accounts, it seemed open and shut, until forensics revealed something chilling. The blood spatter analysis suggested multiple angles of attack, meaning more than one assailant. Even more disturbing, DNA found under Dr. Reeves's fingernails did not match Ethan Rowe. It matched someone from inside the department, Officer Ryan Lowell, one of Hale's own men. Ryan was young, ambitious, and had often volunteered to assist on cases involving Dr. Reeves. He claimed it was because he admired her work. But Hale knew something was off. When they brought him in for questioning, his hands shook. "I didn't kill her," he insisted. "I tried to protect her." Ethan was obsessed. He kept saying she was part of some conspiracy, that she was controlling his mind. "Why is your DNA at the scene?" Hale pressed. Ryan hesitated. "Because I was there earlier that night. She called me, said Ethan had been threatening her. I checked on her around 9 p.m. and she seemed fine. I swear, the timeline didn't fit. If Ryan had left at 9 and Ethan was seen near the house after 10, then who committed the actual murder? Unless someone wanted it to look like Ethan did." Detective Kent dug deeper into Dr. Reeves's encrypted laptop. After hours of decryption, she found a folder titled Project Mirror. Inside were dozens of files containing confidential notes about psychological experiments, tests involving manipulation, hypnosis and trauma response in ex-convicts. It turned out Dr. Reeves was working on a government-funded behavioral study, one that pushed ethical boundaries. Ethan Rowe wasn't just a patient, he was one of the subjects. Her research aimed to rewire violent behavior through subconscious triggers. But something had gone horribly wrong. Ethan had discovered her secret, and someone had silenced her before the truth came out. But who? The government? Ethan? Or someone else benefiting from her silence? 3 days later, Ethan Rowe's car was found abandoned near an old lumber mill. Inside was a torn photograph of Dr. Reeves with the words, "She made me remember," scrawled across it. The place reeked of mold and rot. Detectives found candles arranged in a circle, dried blood on the floor, and a single boot print, smaller than Ethan's. It belonged to a woman. That night, Hale couldn't sleep. He replayed every detail in his head. Something about Laura Kent's behavior had been bothering him, the way she'd been defensive about certain leads, how she'd deleted files after claiming they were irrelevant. When he checked the log files from the evidence server, it confirmed his worst fear. Laura had accessed the Project Mirror folder and deleted 3 names. One of them was hers. Hale confronted her the next morning in the interrogation room. "You were one of Dr. Reeves' patients, weren't you?" he asked quietly. Laura's eyes flickered with emotion, fear, guilt, anger. "She tried to fix me," she whispered. "Said she could erase the trauma. But all she did was bring it back. I remembered everything, what they did to us. She thought she could play God." Hale leaned forward. "You killed her, Laura. You and Ethan." Tears streamed down her face. He wanted revenge. I just wanted it to stop. But when she looked at me, with that same pity, I snapped. "I didn't mean to. It just happened." She broke down, trembling uncontrollably. "Ethan helped me clean it up. Then he ran. Said he'd finish what we started. But I couldn't take it anymore. The guilt, it's eating me alive." Her confession was enough. But the horror of her words lingered long after she was taken away. Ethan Rowe's body was found a week later in the woods, an apparent suicide. A note in his pocket read, "They made me this way. I'm ending it before they use me again." The case was officially closed. Laura Kent was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The government quietly shut down all files related to Project Mirror. Detective Hale retired months later. But the images from that night never left his mind. The look on Dr. Reeves's face, the blood, the betrayal. Sometimes, he wondered if Laura had really been insane, or if they had all been part of something much larger. Something that reached far beyond Maple Hollow. And on quiet nights, when the rain returned and the thunder rolled over the town, Hale swore he could still hear a faint voice whispering through the static of his old radio. "She made me remember."